What's up, y'all? This is Odd Rod, and you are tuned in to another day at the office. I'm a spoken word artist, a dreamer from Jacksonville, Florida, that pursued my dreams. I got with poetry because it saved my life. The first thing I ever wrote was a poem, and the feeling that I got from writing that poem pretty much kept me from being as suicidal as I was at the time. When my brother died, there's so much going on. With my mom being on drugs and my dad not being around. A poem is the first thing I wrote, and it was actually it was a suicide poem. And once I wrote it, and I saw myself writing in rhyme, it felt so good because I finally saw my feelings out somewhere, and I felt like I didn't want to grow that into anything else. I think that I was going to be okay with developing that, and every time I had a chance, I would go write a poem. I found myself writing poetry during college when I was supposed to have a job interning. I stayed writing poetry. It never left me alone. It's not even me holding on to it. It never left me alone. I think it's one of it still does. Like I leave and I drive and I'll pull over on the side of the road to start a poem. My mind runs differently. It separates it. Even in poetry world right now, in spoken word world, it separates itself from that. 'Cause it's its own thing now. It was 2011, and I kept putting my money in the car. Like I had the 24s on the Cutlass back then, and I was excited. I had to spend my money on so many different pairs of rims. I bought rim after rim after rim, and I was like, you know what? What if I took this money that I keep putting in my car and invested in myself? So I went to this woman that gave me scholarship to college, and I talked to her. She probably thought I was gonna ask her for money, but I just needed her advice. I said, I saw a conference, I saw an ad that in New York they have this thing where you can go and speak at or perform at, and there's a chance that the colleges will be there and they will book you if you are what they want. And she was like, well, that's not a waste rod, that's an investment, and if you believe in yourself, go ahead. I put $3,000 towards that and went to New York City, Manhattan, and it was at the Marriott Marquis, and I performed on that stage and I turned 3,000 into 6,500 from bookings. It wasn't about 4 or 5 bookings, but it was around Florida, and I wasn't even priced as high as I'm priced now. But I saw my money flip, and I saw that my story worked, and I wasn't as good as I am now. So over the years, I stayed with it. What I did was I took that 6,500, took another 3,000, went to another bigger conference. And when I went to that one, it was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Turned 3,000 into 40,000 in 3 months. But I stayed at the job like a jackass because I did another car. I put another car together, man. I did it. I finished that car, man. I caught $5,000 for the paint job. You know what I'm saying? But I see I was raised around dope dealers, man. So when I see what they got, I'm like, I want that stuff, but it'll take me a lifetime to get some of the stuff they got. And I was working hard and put my money away and stuff like that. And, I wanted to show that you can do it without selling drugs, that you can do it and keep your freedom. And you don't have to sell yourself out. I ain't got to look a certain way. That's why it ain't too much around here that impresses me. I don't care what people got, what they have. My journey, man, it's a blessing to be where I'm at. Coming from being suicidal to be where I'm at, I'm thankful. I ride around with the top down. I got the car that I want. I got the old school that I want. Everything is the way it was, and I ain't have to sell nothing to hurt nobody. My mama was on drugs. Why would I come out and sell the same thing that was damn near fatal to my mother? So that's what got me out there. My story it doesn't get old. I think stories like that don't get old, they get told. And that's where the longevity comes in. Because a lot of people write poetry and they come into the market and they be like, yo, my poetry better than yours. I'm going to get bookings way more than you. And they lost it. They already lost it because they can rhyme words. I gives a shit about rhyming words. I don't even like poetry like that. But I do like people. And I like that I can affect people with my story. It's much more powerful. I'm not showing up at all the open mics and all the slam poems. I don't care about that stuff. What I am doing is making a difference in the lives of the people behind me. I wrote some crime prevention commercials here years ago, and I was out of college. It was 2006, I believe, and they were like, the police department came to me and was like, could you write about the murders of Dreshana Davis and Shanice Holmes. They were innocent girls. A bullet came through the window and killed these girls. And they're like, could you write a poem kind of in response to this and talk about the gun bounty? And I was like, I don't know. I'm still in the hood. That's kind of weird. But then they told me the stories of those girls getting shot, and it was like, well, we doing our best to try to find out who did this and find a program that'll keep this from happening. So I was like, okay. And then it was like, we'll give you $1,000 per commercial. I stood up. Big fella. I started writing real fast. I ain't never seen money like that for a poem. 3 poems. That was three commercials. $3,000. The first time getting paid for it. And I thought that was my ticket away. I did that, and I did a voiceover for the Jacksonville Jaguars at a time. And all these little things just kind of coming into play where people will put stuff on me, and I was able to create it. I saw me going to people's weddings, speaking at funerals, and getting booked for stuff like that. It might be $100 here, $200 there, $50 here, but I was seeing that they wanted to see me there. They wanted my presence. They wanted my character there. And I was like, man, people getting paid big money to show up on stages and speak for 30 minutes to an hour, and why shouldn't we? They don't have that poet that just shows up and the whole town comes to see him. They do it with comedy. If the poetry is done right, I feel like people would come out, and I still believe that. Being able to quit my job, I quit my job 3 years ago, and once they allowed me to make money doing what I love to do, now I'm free. I'm so free. I was a graphic designer. I was always an artist, and now my photography is picked up. Everything is starting to raise up. So now I don't think about the money anymore. I worked the job for 12 years, and I was happy to see $50,000 to $60,000 a year working 3-4 days a week. Now I don't. I'm way past that now, and I saw my first chance at seeing real money, and it didn't even matter. It didn't matter, because now I'm like, you know what? Now that that's taken care of, I can really help people. Now I can really dive into my story and help people with whatever they're going through. So I go and talk to these students, man, and it's because I love them, and the money don't matter. And more money comes because of that. The moment you move that to the back burner and you really have a passion for what you do, I know I stepped into my calling. And you just happen to get these gifts, you start seeing $100,000 a year and don't even notice it, because now you actually notice how many people you've affected. Now you got people that say, I got to have him back next year. I go to conferences, I go to places now, and before I even speak, they like, we already got a booking for you. We got a block for you in upstate New York. And it's amazing, man. It made me aware of how serious it is to not pay attention to your surroundings sometimes to get where you need to go. Because all this time I told you, around here, it's like, yeah, all right. You okay? Oh, I'll come to your show maybe. Oh, I'm busy. All that where you put on the back burner and you go to a place where they put you on the front burner and pay you handsomely. Oh no, it's easy. It felt great because it let me know that I was who I thought I was. Because I can tell a lot of people here, they won't believe in themselves if they continue to just be caught up with what's going on around here, because a lot of times Jacksonville only move with what's popular. So as soon as somebody happening or they in a picture with a celebrity, all of a sudden you be like, oh, they successful. So you see that I'm opening up for Marsha Ambrosius and Eric Benet, and put it on Facebook. I got almost 300 likes on that, and they like, congratulations. I don't see myself as making it on that. That ain't that much money. I appreciate it because I'm my main man, so I ain't gonna charge them that much. But at the same time, y'all like see that and like, but something else big has happened where I might have got invited to do a TED Talk, and it's like 100 likes on that, because we don't know exactly what success is. Success is a look in Jacksonville. So if you look successful, you successful. But we don't know what success, like true success is. Like looking behind the scenes, man. It's people broke as hell because they look successful. I ain't come here to preach. For real. I used to be that person. I looked successful. I was broke as hell working a job. And I see it all the time. People be wanting the free club entries and all that. Social media is wild now. So, like, that taught me, go invest yourself and see them people really pay you. And now, what else can anybody else say to you from the city? What? I don't need radio advertisements. I don't need nothing. So nobody can dangle anything over my head because I'm dangling.